Hi, it's Connecticut car accident attorney Ryan McKean here, and today I'm going to talk to you about the secrets that Allstate Insurance Company does not want you to know when you are purchasing auto insurance. These are the things that, having represented many people who have been in car accidents, had wished they had known when they were buying the policy, and I'm going to share these secrets with you today. Now, with insurance, there are a few things you really want to know. Okay, so if you're purchasing a policy, you first of all need to know what your liability limits are. And in Connecticut, the lowest liability limits are 25,000, 50,000. And what does that mean? That means that your insurance company has to cover you for injuries up to $25,000 for one person total. So the most that they will ever pay to any one claimant is $25,000, and the most they will pay in any accident, say that there were four people in a car, is $50,000 total. Okay, so those are really, really, really low insurance limits. I've seen emergency room bills that are $20,000. We've had car accident cases where there's been millions of dollars in damage. Money, medical costs, lost wages, pain and suffering, all of that can be significant. And so those low limits, the 25, 50, are awful low. Other common policies that we see are 50,000, 100,000, 100,000, 300,000, 250,000, and 500,000, being usually what the most maximum limits in Connecticut are: 250, 500, which means $250,000 to any one person, 500,000 to an act total that they would pay out if there were multiple claimants. And then after that, there would be umbrella policies, and you're going to want to talk to your agent about the possibility of purchasing an umbrella policy. Oftentimes, these policies aren't all that expensive, but they would cover, say, $1 million in damage to you or to somebody else that's going to protect you. So you're going to really want to ask about an umbrella policy that's going to go over, it's going to be secondary to your auto insurance policy. Okay, so those are your liability limits. What most people do not know is that your liability limits are oftentimes the same as your underinsured limits. So if you have $25,000, 2550 policy, and an underinsured person hits you, or an uninsured person hits you, and there are lots of uninsured people on Connecticut's roads, then the most that you can get from your own insurance company is only $25,000, and that may not be enough. So you're always going to want to maximize your liability coverage, because in doing so, you're going to be maximizing your underinsured coverage, which is going to protect you. We've seen some policies where people will elect lower underinsured or uninsured coverage. Do not do this. Do not do this. You want as much underinsured coverage as you can get. You never know when something bad is going to happen, and you're going to need that policy. Another thing that insurance companies oftentimes don't talk to you about is what's known as conversion coverage, okay, or stacking coverage. And conversion coverage just means that, say, if you don't have conversion coverage and you have a $100,000 policy, and the person who hits you has $25,000, they pay the $25,000 from the person who hit you, so there's only 75 that remains. So it's the 100 minus the 25. And with conversion coverage, which is known as stacking, you take the two policies. So there'd be 25 plus 100, so it would be 125, as opposed to just $100,000 total in insurance. And so that can make a big difference. And stacking conversion coverage is often not very expensive. For whatever reason, it's also not sold a lot. So you're really going to want to ask your agent about purchasing conversion coverage. Unfortunately, the only people we ever see who have it are people who were previously in accidents, or their insurance reps, or their personal injury lawyers. So check about conversion coverage. You also are going to want to check medical payments coverage, or MedPay. MedPay is no fault, meaning that, if your car slid off the road and you had to go to the hospital, it's going to pay your medical bills. Or if somebody hit you, it's going to pay medical bills up to a certain amount. Sometimes these policies are $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. The most I've ever seen is $30,000 in MedPay. But you're going to want to look at that because under Connecticut law, even if somebody else hits you and you're not at fault, you're going to be primarily responsible for your medical payments coverage. So it could be an ER bill, an ambulance bill, it could be your deductibles. So you're really going to want to have insurance that's going to cover that for you. So look at medical payments coverage, for sure. The other situation that comes up, and I can't recommend enough, is that you have a rental car coverage on your policy. And sometimes we see cases where the police report hasn't come out, or the other insurance company can't contact their insured, and they're trying to do some investigation, and you can't get into a rental car. And that can be very frustrating because you have to get your car fixed, or maybe your car's been totaled. Maybe you need to look at new cars. Maybe you need to go to doctor's appointments. Maybe you need to just get back to work. And you can't get a rental car. So if you have rental on your policy, oftentimes the easiest thing to do is to put the rental claim through your policy to allow you to get a rental car, and your insurance company will go subrogate, which is make a claim against the other insurance company and get paid back so you can get in that rental car. And the same goes for collision. You're going to want to, if you are driving a vehicle that has any value at all, you're going to want to have full coverage or collision coverage on it. Again, because if somebody who hits you who's uninsured and you don't have collision coverage, well, guess what? You may have just lost your car. So those are really the different types of coverages that you're going to want to think about. These are the things that a lot of people wish they had known before they were in a car accident. And if you've been in a car accident, don't hesitate to give me a call, 860-471-8333.